Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Jaffe, and I'm joined by co-host Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatton.
Begin.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highland 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Duke Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. I couldn't believe it. I just saved the life of somebody from my hometown.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
I realized at that moment, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Welcome back to Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Jaffe, along with co-host Duke Rufus. NAFC Armageddon. We're going to feature a featherweight 145-pound battle now. In the blue corner, Ricardo Rosas out of the Highland Fighting Systems, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, taking on an independent from Milwaukee. In the red corner, John Brown. Take it away, Duke.
And there's Rosas. He comes in, he's got the blue tape around his gloves. He dropped a good punch combination. And Brown has got the red tape around his gloves, since all fighters got black gloves and the old school black Valley Tudo shorts. So we're picking up action here. John Brown looks to want to keep this fight standing. It looks like Rosas is trying to be well-rounded. He reminds me a little of UFC's Danny Castillo, actually. Moving the head well. There's John Brown trying to measure with the jab. Little exchange here, nothing big landed. Again, both fighters in the featherweight division. Nice leg kick there from Rosas. And nice jab, nice cross, and then Brown comes back with his own jab.
Yeah, the independent from Milwaukee seems to be holding his own so far here in round one, a featherweight matchup, NAFC Armageddon taking place, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And there they are on the wonderful National Guard logo, our proud partner in production of these events. And coming back again with that kick punch. He's got that nice, crisp right low kick followed by a cross hook. Good right hand, then left hook followed by Brown, but gives up the takedown. Not only was that a great takedown, double leg, he gets the the side control out of it by passing the guard, getting good control here, good shoulder pressure on the right, starts to ground and pound. Again, this is very uncomfortable when someone's good at this position. You can see he's turning Brown away, and that he doesn't want to have him turn away. Brown wants to actually turn back into him, trying to achieve an underhook like he is with his right hand. There, he's trying to get the underhook, which means coming under your opponent's arm. Brown trying to do the Anthony Pettis a la sweep that he did against Roller to no avail. It did not work, but staying tough on the ground. But Rosas is doing a good job of controlling, but now he's fishing for the guillotine submission. He's trying to fish under the neck. Brown's doing a good job of holding on with his gloves. It looks like he has one hand slipped in there. He's taking his feet and defending, trying to work his way out there. He's in mount right now, and Rosas has what's called the grapevines, where you wrap your legs around your opponent's legs so that you can control him, and he can't get out of this position. Now he gives up the choke, he goes to striking. Now he's trying to work, we call taking the back, which when you take the back, he's looking to either ground and pound like that, possibly do the rear naked choke, or he might flip into even an arm bar if he picks a side. But right now he's content to have a very dominant position, controlling, doing a good job of keeping Brown under him and hitting him. Again, those don't look like they're hard shots, but when you're on the ground, those punches hurt a lot. They're rolled into the choke. You can see now that Ricardo's trying to attempt the rear naked choke. Brown's fighting though. He's doing a good job, and that's the end of the first round. I'd say first round, we'd have to give it to Ricardo. He did a good job against Jonathan. Good exchange of punches there. Both guys have been eager to stand up, but Ricardo working, moving, using his footwork well, and there's a nice jab that slides under the punches with a beautiful double leg takedown and a cheap side control. There's Ricardo's coach, Jason Mills. He's a professional heavyweight fighter and the head coach and founder and owner of the Highland Fighting System. Very experienced coach, bringing in good advice in the corner. There's a great crowd that night at Armageddon at the Wisconsin State Fair. Enthusiastic fans here in Milwaukee.
Again, a featherweight matchup, 145 pounds in the blue corner. As Duke was saying, Highland Fighting Systems, Ricardo Rosas, and an independent fighting on the red corner, John Brown from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This was NAFC Armageddon.
All right, we're going into round two. It should be interesting to see what Jonathan's game plan is. If he's going to try and keep it standing, if he's going to shoot himself and try and win another round, or look to take the battle to the man himself. Right now, if I were in Rosas' corner, I'd say, hey, Ricardo, keep doing what you're doing. It's working very well. He's been doing well on his feet, but as well setting up takedowns and controlling the positions on the ground and attempting the submissions.
Again, Rosas in the blue tape around the wrist, and John Brown has the red tape around the wrist. Easiest way to tell the two fighters apart, since they're both wearing the black trunks today.
Yes, and right now John Brown is on our right and Ricardo Rosas is on our left. They're circling around the cage and so looking to set up action. John Brown right now doesn't seem to be as peppy as he was last round. He seems a little apprehensive of the takedown attempts and possibly getting attempted submissions or being submitted. So you can see he's not as aggressive. There he sprawled very well against a single leg defense. He's doing a good job. Uses it to stand back up. Now what he's got to do after he sprawled is get it back though. He's got to hit. Just don't be defensive. He needs to be offensive. And now, we're working. Now double leg attempt, switch to single. Now he's back on the single. And, again, same thing as you saw earlier, a little sprawl and brawl. The thing is, Jonathan's doing a good job of sprawling. He needs to do a little bit more brawling. Right now, Ricardo is the aggressor.
Again, Scott Jaffe here with Duke Rufus. You're watching a featherweight matchup between Sheboygan's Ricardo Rosas and Milwaukee, Wisconsin's John Brown on Wisconsin MMA Today.
Yeah, if you want to get more information on us, you can go on Facebook and like Wisconsin MMA Today. So that's WI MMA Today on Facebook. We're also on Twitter at WI MMA Today. Nice left hook there from Ricardo as we're plugging our social networks.
Let's get in also YouTube.com/WI MMA Today TV. You can check out all these episodes online.
Yeah, post on Facebook, tweet us on Twitter, and be one of our tweeps. You know, get involved. Wisconsin MMA is blowing up. We got so many cool shows and fights coming up, and definitely get involved in our social network.
Quick shout out and thank you to our main partner, the Wisconsin National Guard. Of course, we're powered by Conceit, and special thank you to sponsors Showtime and Tiffin Mats. Scott Jaffe here with Duke Rufus. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. This is a featherweight matchup between Highland Fighting Systems' Ricardo Rosas out of Sheboygan, and in the red corner, you can see the red tape around his wrist, John Brown, an independent training in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, very nice right hand there by John. You know, he's doing a good job of not getting taken down this round, and that was a close round. I mean, you could go either way. I might even give that to Brown this round. He stuffed the takedowns, had a few decisive blows on the feet. It was a very close round to score.
That's one thing about an independent fighter. He does get to train at many different gyms, gets looks from many different training partners, not always the same people every day. Of course, when you're in a larger facility such as the Highland Fighting Systems, of Rufus Sport, or Waukesha MMA for that matter, you do get a lot of different training partners. John Brown seems to be doing very well. And again, an independent, fighting out of the red corner from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's taking on, in the blue corner, Ricardo Rosas out of Highland Fighting Systems in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Again, this is NAFC Armageddon, a featherweight matchup under 145 pounds. Scott Jaffe here with Duke Rufus. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Getting ready for the start of the next round.
Yeah, the featherweight division's really heating up here in the NAFC. It's really cool. You know, there's a lot of guys who want to get that vacant 145 strap right now. You know, one of the other fights earlier in the season, Luis Garcia, it looks like he's going to be in line to fight February 9th for it. And everyone's working their way up the ladder to become a contender for that belt. And here we are in round 3. Who's working their way to get closer? If I were, again, Rosas, and if I were a fly on the wall with a cage next to Jason Mills, I'd tell him to do the same thing he did in the first round. Strike, 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 close your distance, and take down, and that's what he's doing. He's looking to achieve the clinch there. John Brown doing a good job, though. He's getting the underhook, which he needs to do. He's just got to be careful there, and now he didn't defend the front headlock series, which he switched it into the guillotine. He pulled guard, but as they did, he was able to secure from the mount position. John Brown, he's doing a good job there of defending. You can see, you really can't see it on the screen, his left arm's over there negating the choke. He's doing a good job of fighting the choke with his left arm that's tucked under him. That's what's fighting the right arm of Ricardo there to not have him finish that choke. You know.
So many fights on NAFC Armageddon went the distance. A true testament to matchmaker Mike Camp. What a great job he did putting this whole card together. 20 bouts on the main card for NAFC Armageddon, 8 bouts on the undercard. An amazing night, over 6 hours of fights. Again, Scott Jaffe here with Duke Rufus. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. In the blue corner, Ricardo Rosas out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. In the red corner, an independent John Brown out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, this is third round action.
And as well, when fights are going the distance, it's a sign of the training. You know, there's good academies that have great coaching, and the athletes are getting much more well-rounded. You know, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, even 2 years ago, there's a lot of fights that ended quickly. Guys didn't have the stamina or the skill set to go the distance, and there was a good sweep there. Ricardo was a little too low on his mount. Should add his knees towards the armpit of John Brown. John Brown realized that, using his technical expertise, used it to sweep him. Now John Brown's going to give him a little payback from the top position of a la GSP ground and pound, but he's got to watch it. Ricardo's doing the right thing, trying to attack the arm and defend there. And John Brown here trying to mount his last chance to win this fight. I think right now that, you know, we're going to have to say that Rosas wins this fight. He's been dominant the full 3 rounds. I'd give him this fight most likely 2 rounds to 1 for sure, if not, you know, the full 3 rounds, but definitely a unanimous decision.
So Duke has it either 3 rounds to none or 2 to 1, definitely for Ricardo Rosas fighting out of the Highland Fighting System, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. John Brown here needs to pull something off in the waning moments of the 3rd round, a submission or knockout. We'll see if he can do it here.
Wisconsin MMA Today reporter Paul Flatten here with Ricardo Rosas, who just made his debut with an impressive victory, man. How did you take your performance in that fight?
I think I could do a lot better than that. Maybe it was just the jitters, but I could definitely perform better.
You know, every time that fight went to the ground, you had a decisive advantage. Was that your decision, or was that your game plan coming in?
I have a wrestling background, I wrestle collegiately, so I just went to my second nature, and that's what happened.
There were some times, especially there right near the end of the first round, where you almost had him, it looked like. Do you think he was going to submit any times?
He was a tough guy. I could tell from the start. I didn't think he was going to submit, so I was ready to go to the end.
What's next in the cage for you?
We'll talk to my trainer and we'll see what's next.
Excellent. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one, man.
When we return, we're going to take you inside of Waukesha Mixed Martial Arts on Wisconsin MMA Today.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Duke Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
First time. Wildfires were getting close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
We're Waukesha Mixed Martial Arts, and you're watching Wisconsin MMA Today.
Keep her going until we get it. Starting to look better. Pivot, pivot, pivot.
Well, I started when I was 38. I guess I can start from there. I started MMA when I was 38. I've been involved in martial arts off and on since I was 17. So I came into MMA with a taekwondo and a strong kempo background. Started training a little bit with my kickboxing at Rufus Sport. Had my jiu-jitsu from NutriGround. Started dabbling in MMA really as I'm somebody who really likes to do new things. I've done skydiving, I've been whitewater kayaking, riding bulls. MMA just seemed like a nice progression. With some of my proudest moments, winning the titles, winning the Gladiators title when the Gladiators was here. I think that the fan base, love having the fan base. I think my proudest moment is I had a can. I had a guy, we called him the window washer. Unfortunately, he came in the same day that we were fighting. He just wasn't prepared mentally, physically, and the fight was over in about 17 seconds, and the crowd started booing him. And I got up, I just kind of asked them to, don't boo, and they quietened up. I think that's probably my proudest moment of MMA, that I had that kind of respect from people that knew me and people that didn't know me. They just respected me for the athlete that I was, not to boo the guy that got in the cage to face me. That was actually probably my proudest moment. He tries to go over the underhook. I slide my butt down.
It's tough for any mixed martial arts school to retain students, but Waukesha Mixed Martial Arts seems to have found a way.
A lot of it is changing up your curriculum, making sure there's always things that help push them, help them reach their goals. You gotta look for the goals that your students have for their martial arts, what they have for a goal for themselves, and then we try to help push them and get them there.
You know, that's the hitting 5 years in business. I think any business is a challenge, and especially with, in a market that can go the way of the economy. You know, where it's a disposable income that people can cut back on easily. So to make it 5 years, very happy.
It felt great. It seems like it flew by, though, honestly, when Reese told me it was 5 years. I was kind of shocked at that because it goes by really fast, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think the biggest thing I'm proud of is the amount of kids that we have. We had a small group today, but we have the amount of kids that we have in our program. The impact I'm able to have on the kids, not just the physical aspect of martial arts, but like today we're talking about line, you know, and character building, you know. I think that my favorite program is the kids program.
It's nice that they're learning self-defense, but you know, there's a lot more that goes into that that's respectful and, you know, things like that are beneficial to the child.
What I really like about mixed martial arts is that you get to have fun before, and you can train a little bit too, so you get some practice in before you learn the moves, and you can try some of your own moves when we're rolling. Is kind of my favorite part because I've won it a lot of times.
Well, basically, Mr. Reese, ever since I started taking classes, I've learned how to stand up for myself because I always used to get bullied, and now I can defend. Now I know how to stand up for myself.
It makes me stronger and helps me more with dance and on my balance. And I decided to come back because I was not doing so well, and decided to come back and try it again.
My husband does most of it. So Reese is the main instructor for the majority of our classes. We have Mr. J.R. Briones. He does help with our kickboxing classes, and he does the instruction there. He also helps with our kids class for those programs, which he's big and burly, but they respond well to him. But the kids class is another one of those good ones for watching them grow up and what you can give to the kids.
One of my students, Dan LaPaz, is with at Milwaukee High School, and he was in the administrative department, and he started doing jiu-jitsu with us. Loved it, saw how well it did for his kids and his wife. He introduced it to the Milwaukee High School. We were able to step in there, and what's nice about that, there's a lot of activities in school that kids just don't feel comfortable. They may not play basketball. They may not want to do football. They may not like the idea of wrestling. Where jiu-jitsu, now we're getting into a sport, but also a self-defense. Again, for that little niche of kids that the norm didn't seem comfortable for them.
We've finally grown into the facility that we have here. When we built it, we knew we were kind of large for what we had in a student base, and we're starting to fill that. So it's going to be neat to see what we can do once we fill our capacity here, where we go from there, or what we have to add class-wise. We're always trying to mix it up, add something into the program that will help our students, or just changing up things. There's always room to grow in a schedule, and you know, it'd be nice to be able to see our student base grow in the next few years.
I'm going to fill out my gym, fill out the gym, open more classes. I'd like to be able to, I need to get the word out a little bit more, let people know that we're here. There's so many people that don't even know that we're here. And I do like local advertising, but they still don't know we're here. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is getting the word out. Because there are a lot of people that live right around the corner. All of a sudden they come in like 6 months ago and like, oh, I didn't know you were right here. Yeah, we're right around the corner.
If you're looking for a great place to train mixed martial arts in Waukesha County, you owe it to yourself to check out Reese and Mary Shaner's Waukesha MMA Academy, located at 1111 South West Avenue in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
We're Waukesha Mixed Martial Arts, and you're watching Wisconsin MMA Today.
I remember the moment clearly.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
I realized at that moment, when we first saw the damage, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community. Together with local responders, we cleared trees and collapsed walls. We had to get to the family trapped beneath. As a citizen soldier, I made a difference.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, High 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Duke Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
I realized at that moment, these people really needed us. And I was going to make a difference, right here in my community.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
We had been called up for the first time. Wildfires were getting close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is.
Be there for your community at NationalGuard.com.
Hi, my name is Mike Biggie Rhodes, and my technique of the week is the front kick. I really like to use the front kick technique when the opponent has lowered his stance or his hands are pretty wide. So let me demonstrate that for you. I like to wait until my opponent is coming towards me in an aggressive manner, and then that's when I switch my feet and I front kick with the left leg. So, bang. So I catch him really coming in, and if he comes harder, the harder the kick is. And that's the technique of the week.
For Wisconsin MMA Today, I'm Scott Jaffe.
And I'm Paul Fladden.
And we'll see you next week.